You know your iPad can run apps, but it's not limited to those apps that originally shipped with it. Apple's App Store has over 500,000 apps, and many of them are worth your time. But how do you find the good ones? That's what this video is about, making the most of the App Store. There are two ways to browse the App Store: on your computer within iTunes and on the iPad itself. We're going to start with iTunes on your computer, either Windows or Mac. Launch iTunes on your computer and choose the iTunes Store in iTunes Source pane. The iTunes Store's home page is devoted to music, movies and TV shows. We're only after apps, so we're going to click on the App Store link. This takes us to the App Store home page. Let's check out the top of the page. Apple promotes the coolest new apps in banners at the top of the page. You'll also find some collections that are based on a particular theme. For example, if it's around the holidays, you may see some kind of holiday theme or something that's popular at the time. For example, the Olympic Games. Move down to New and Noteworthy, and you're going to find apps that Apple also thinks are worth your attention. But what if you want to see what's hot with other iOS users? Check out a few other areas. Scroll down to What's Hot. These are apps that had been recently released that have been selling pretty well. Now, recently released is the key phrase here. These aren't long-time performers, but rather apps that have been popular for a short time. They are worth checking out, but as they haven't been here for a long time, they may still be rubbish. One place I do look for better apps is the top charts list. There are a couple of them. The first is paid apps. These are apps that are selling really well. And of course, they're selling. You have to pay to get these apps. Scroll down and you'll also see the top free apps. These are free applications, but are very popular. And this is what people are downloading. If you want to see long-term performers that are doing well, keep going until you get to the top grossing area. These are apps that are not only popular, but they've made a lot of money for the people who have developed them. Apple has also put together some other lists that you should look at. Click the App Starter Kit. This is an App Store Essentials collection, and it contains applications that are quite popular and very useful. For example, here, Flipboard is a way of looking at stories from the internet. iBooks is incredibly popular. It's the way you look at books on the iPad and other iOS devices. And here's TuneIn Radio, which provide access to radio stations anywhere in the world. If you like games, check out the Games Starter Kit. The Hall of Fame are apps that are not only popular, but Apple likes them too. You can dig down even further by clicking on the App Store Quicklinks and looking at one of the categories lists. So let's look at photo and video. This is similar to the regular apps homepage, however it's devoted to a specific category. So again, you see New and Noteworthy, What's Hot, and then you see a listing of all the apps that are available in this category. Also top free apps and top paid apps. Okay, so let's select an app from the App Starter Kit and look at it in greater depth. Let's choose a free app, ABC iView. This is the catch-up on-demand app from the ABC. So here we are on the page for this app, and what you can see, of course, is the title, the description. You can learn more about the application by clicking on a More link right here on the page. You'll see new version information. There are also some screenshots for the iPhone and iPad versions. When you want to buy the app, you just simply click on the price area. In this case, it's a free app, and we'll go ahead and download it. It will ask for my Apple ID and password. Click Get, and it's now downloading the app. Move further down the page and look at customer ratings. This is one way to tell if the app is worth it or not. First of all, you're going to get star ratings. These are people who have downloaded and or purchased the app. People can rate the app out of 5 stars, and then the ratings are averaged. Another thing to be careful about is to look at the number of ratings that are here. If an app has 3, 4, 5 or 6 ratings, it doesn't tell you very much. But if it has lots and lots of ratings, you have an idea that many people have rated it, and you're going to get a better and more accurate idea of how good this app is. Also, go to the Sort By menu and choose Most Recent. Then take a look at the ratings. The reason you do this is because it's possible that an update has come out and maybe it's introduced some bugs, or there were bugs before and the update fixes those bugs. By looking at the recent reviews, you can see how the very most current version is doing. Read a few of the reviews. Read 5 or 6, maybe 10 reviews, and get an idea of how people really feel about it, instead of just picking one review and saying, oh, well, that guy didn't like it, so clearly it's no good. One more thing that I'd like to point out is the apps entry under the library on your iTunes sidebar. Select this and you'll see a list of all the apps that are stored in your iTunes library. What we're specifically looking at here is the updates entry at the bottom of the window. Click on that and you'll see how many updated apps are available to you. Now you can choose these things individually. So if you just want to download one of these, simply click on Get Update, and that single app will update. Or you can go to the top of the window and select Download All Updates. Once you purchase an app, the updates are free. However, if they come out with a brand new version, then yes, you have to pay for it again. Generally, we would update the apps on the iPad.